What's up, YouTube? This is James coming back at you with another informative video. I hope you guys are doing well out there on this nice, warm Monday. I'm doing real good myself. I'm surprised the weather is so nice out there. Almost 60 degrees here where I'm at. And I've been enjoying that. Okay. Look, shout out to the sister Queen. I know who I am for hipping me to this particular situation that's going on across the country. Like Gwen Guthrie said back in the day, ain't nothing going on but the rent. You understand? And that's what this whole entire story right here entails. This is national news, right? Rents reach insane levels across the U.S. with no end in sight. Okay? That's not good. I mean, basically what this all boils down to, as with everything else in this damn country, greed. Greed. You know, that's what it is. Let's get into this story. Crystal Guerrero's Miami apartment has a tiny kitchen, cracked tiles, warped cabinets, no dishwasher, and hardly any storage space. But Guerrero was fine with the apartment's shortcomings. It was all part of being a 32-year-old graduate student in South Florida, she reasoned. And she was happy to live there for a few more years as she finished her marketing degree. Okay. It goes on to say here, that was until a new owner bought the property and told her he was raising the rent from $1,550 to $1,950, a 26% increase that Guerrero said meant her rent would account for the majority of her take-home pay. Okay, from the University of Miami. Okay, now see, this is what I'm talking about. It's greed. You know, somebody else bought the shit, and now they trying to retire off of this woman and whoever other properties that they may own. That's basically what this boils down to. And now we wonder why we have the problems that we have in this country. You know, stress factor is just, it's so damn high, man. This is, and when the stress factor gets high among society, you get a bunch of crazy things going on, you know, with people. You know, people tempers flare, you know what I'm saying? You can't even basically look at a person and say, hey, what's going on? How you doing? Without some motherfucker might snap at you just because of this kind of stuff, okay? See, but I digress. To continue, I thought that was insane, said Guerrero, who decided to move out. Am I supposed to stop paying for everything else I have going on in my life? Just say I can pay rent. That's unsustainable, okay? And I agree with her, you know what I mean? But, you know, the best thing I say to do, let them have it. You know what I mean? Go find somewhere, you know, downsize. Go find somewhere else, you know what I mean, to live. And then he'll see the damn thing just sit there and collect, you know, cobwebs and rodents and every damn thing else, because nobody is going to pay that kind of money, okay? He'll soon come around and see he's not going to get what he's asking for a month, right? Now, to continue, Guerrero is hardly alone. Rents have exploded across the country, causing many to dig deep into their savings, downsize to subpar units, or fall behind on payments and risk eviction that a federal moratorium has ended. In the 50 largest U.S. metro areas, median rent rose an astounding 19.3% from December 2020 to December 2021, according to a Realtor.com analysis of properties with 2 or fewer bedrooms, and nowhere was the jump bigger than in Miami metro area, where median rent exploded to $2,850, okay? 49.8% higher than the previous year. Other cities across Florida, Tampa, Orlando, and Jacksonville, and the Sunbelt destinations of San Diego, Los Angeles, Texas, Los Angeles, Austin, and Texas, and Memphis, Tennessee, all saw spikes of more than 25% during that time period. Wow. I got a scenario I want to introduce. Let me read this right here. Rising rent are increasing drivers of high inflation that has become one of the nation's top economical problems. Um, Labor Department data, which covers existing rents as well as all new listings, shows much smaller increases. But these are also picking up. Rental costs rose 0.5% in January from December, the Labor Department said last week. That may seem small, but it was the biggest increase in 20 years and will likely accelerate. All right. Now, this is what I want to say. Okay. You're getting a lot of people that's quitting their jobs, right? Now, let's just say that these rent increases is basically due to the fact that people, quitting their jobs, and these people are basically raising the rent to compensate for the loss, of not working for somebody else, pretty much, that's just me saying, but that could be very well true. Okay. Now, to continue, economists worry about the impact of rent increases on inflation because the big jumps in the new leases feed into the U.S. Consumer Price Index, which is used to measure inflation. Inflation jumped 7.5% in January from a year earlier, the biggest increase in 4 decades. While many economics expect that to decrease as pandemic disrupted supply chains unrivaled, rising rent could keep inflation through the end of the year. Since housing costs make up 1/3 of the consumer price index, goes on to say here, this have gotten so bad in Boston, which has nearly overtaken San Francisco as the nation's second most expensive rental market. That one resident went viral for jokingly putting an igloo on the market for $2,700 a month. Heat, hot water, not included. Jonathan Burke tweeted. That's funny, it's bad, you know what I mean? Then you got the price of fucking gasoline, man. That's another damn thing. Where I'm at, it's just say $4 a gallon, you know what I'm saying? And whatever. And we know they're going to mess with that too eventually. It's going to raise it up again. I think they want to make people homeless and destitute, But if you get that, like I said, these people are going to suffer. The ones who's raising this rent, you know what I mean? That's just what it is. To continue, experts say many factors are reasonable for astronomical rents, including a nationwide housing shortage, extremely low rental vacancies, okay, and unrelating demand as young adults continue to enter the crowded market. Whitney Airgood, Aubrey Key, I guess that's the name, lead author of a recent report from Howard University Joint Center for Housing Studies, said there was a lot of pent-up demand after the initial months of the pandemic, when many young people moved back home with their parents. Starting last year, as the economy opened up and young people moved out, rents really took off, she said. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, rental vacancy rates during the fourth quarter of 2021 fell to 5.6%, the lowest since 1984. Okay. With a lot of rental vacancies that landlords are accused to having, that gives them more pricing power because they're not sitting on empty units that they need to fill, said Danielle Hale, Realtor.com's chief economist. Okay. Yeah, they got a explanation for everything, but hey, to put this shit in street terms, look, y'all keep raising rent like this, hey, people gonna let this shit go anyway, and you're gonna be broke. That's basically what it boils down to. That's just what it is. Greed never helps. A lot of these people, who own these units, y'all gonna have to take your ass back to work. That's just what it is. You can't just compensate by ripping somebody else off so you can live a cushy life, and you know you can't afford to live like that. You might have to go back to work or something. Okay. To continue, meanwhile, the number of homes for sale have been at a record low, contributing to ballooning home prices that have caused many higher income households to remain renters, further upping demand. Construction crews are also trying to bounce back from material and labor shortages that at the start of the pandemic made a pre-existing shortage of new homes even worse, leaving an estimated shortfall of 5.8 million single-family homes. At 51% leap. A 51% leap from the end of 2019, Realtor.com said, and potentially compounding all of this is the increasing presence of investors, right? Yeah, those are the ones with the money, no big deal for them. A record 18.2% of U.S. home purchases in the third quarter of 2021 were made by businesses or institutions, according to Redfin, as investors target Atlanta, Phoenix, Miami, Charlotte, North Carolina, and Jacksonville, Florida, popular destinations for people relocating from pricier cities. Yeah, people downsizing now, okay? Hale said the increasing presence of investors as a factor in rent hikers, but only because they have pricing power due to low vacancies. I don't think that's the only driver, she said. Most investors aren't tied down by rent control. Only 2 states, California and Oregon, have statewide rent control laws, while 3 others, New York, New Jersey, and Maryland, have laws allowing local governments to pass rent control ordinances, according to the National Multifamily Housing Council. And laws in some states, like Arizona, actually restrict local jurisdictions from limiting what landlords can charge tenants. We need laws like that, tell you the truth. Those kind of laws are some laws that should be fought for. You want to know the truth about it. It goes on to say, though, in Tucson, Arizona, the mayor's office said it has been deluged with calls from residents worried about rent hikes after a California developer recently bought an apartment complex that catered to older people and raised rent by more than 50%, forcing out many on fixed incomes. Okay, the rent on a 1-bedroom apartment in the complex went from $579 to $880 a month, an increase legal under Arizona state law. Arizona Senator Crystal Sinema, I guess it was Sinema, decried the increase during a recent Senate Banking Committee hearing, saying Arizona's rapidly growing housing costs have been a major concern of hers for years. Nationally, Hale, the Realtors.com economists expect rent to continue to rise this year, but at a slower pace, thanks to increased construction. Improving supply growth should help create more balance in the market, said Hale, who forecasts rents to rise 7.1% in 2022. Okay, yeah, something got to be done about this, man. Like I said, America's in trouble. America's in trouble. It goes on to say here in Miami, Guerrera has started packing her belongings ahead of her March move out date. She spent weeks frantically looking for places in her budget, but said She couldn't find anything that wasn't either incredibly small, incredibly broken down, or an hour away from work. And everyone I know, and everyone I know, yeah. Um, hmm. Yeah, it's like I said, this is a messed up situation, and I notice a lot of times while I'm driving, or I might even get mail. We may get mail here where somebody's offering to buy your property. You see what I'm saying? More than likely, they want to build on your property and then turn around, and raise, rent for, people who may need to, move in these places. I think that's what it has a lot to do with. See? Now, in conclusion, here goes on to say her plan now is to put her things in storage and move in with her boyfriend, even though the timing isn't ideal. We didn't want to have the decision of moving in together forced upon us, Guerrero said. We wanted it to be something we agreed to, but it's happening before we wanted it to happen. All right. Associated Press economics writer Christopher Rugenberg in Washington, and AP writers Michael Casey in Boston and Anita Snow in Phoenix contributed to this report. Okay, messed up report, y'all. I'm gonna tell you that right now. These greedy bastards, y'all trying to mess people out of their homes. But like I said, what's gonna wind up happening is these greedy ass investors, y'all gonna lose what y'all got. That's what's wrong with this country to this day. Greed. It goes back to what I said at the beginning of this article. It's all about greed. Okay? But y'all tell me what y'all think about this story right here. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts, views, and opinions on it. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. People, please remember to live your life as though we are being watched, simply because we are. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.